Hey, it's Ben Merritt. Been talking to Dusty Slay here on the air, and Dusty is coming to Fargo Theater on June 7th. That's like right around the corner. Hey, Dusty, how are you?
I'm doing great. We're having a good time. How are you?
Doing fantastic. And if you know anything about Dusty Slay, we're always having a good time. Also, I love, it's not going to work here in the phone call, Dusty, but the wave, when you let me know when a joke's over with, man. I really appreciate that because sometimes it's hard to get through my dense skull that's when that happens.
Well, I'm still waving, even though you can't see it. So
I'll just have to believe it. All right, I
yeah.
understand. You can just say period or something. No, that won't work either. But we'll just move on from there.
Nah, that might be tough.
Yeah, it's just randomly saying period might also trigger a few people. All right, moving on. So Dusty is coming. It's the Night Shift Tour, Fargo Theater, June 7th. Night Shift, that's something that you're pretty well accustomed to, being, your Netflix special, being working man. You were a working man before you got into stand-up comedy.
That's true. I mean, I've worked all the shifts, I did a lot of jobs. I sold pesticides. I was a bellhop. I was a timeshare salesman. I've done it all. And I delivered pizzas, made pizzas, drove a forklift. I'm out here, and I'm just taking notes.
You're living the life of a forklift certified night shifter. Got it. I understand.
That's right.
There you go.
I worked at Office Depot. I would show up at 6 a.m. I would unload the truck. I would check in all the stuff, put it on carts, and then I would stock everything. Every time they fired someone at Office Depot, they didn't hire a new person to replace them. They just made their duties part of my job.
That sounds terrible, to be honest. I was going to ask, is that the worst job you had?
No, selling timeshares was the worst job I ever had. That only lasted for about 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
But it was a nightmare. I hate, because you're trying to sell things to people knowing that you're about to, ruin their life for some amount of time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I never made a sale. I would talk to people. We would have a great time talking. But when it came time to close the deal, I did everything but say, you don't want to do this.
You'd even put the fake roaches in the timeshare that they were looking at, probably, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, my thing, I was on the street guy, right? So
okay.
At least during my training period, I was getting an hourly wage. So I kind of made up my mind that this is not going to be a job for me. I was just going to collect my hourly wage during this training period and then get out of there.
Gotcha.
But they make it sound appealing because you really can make a lot of money if you sell people on these timeshares. But I never wanted to rip people off for money. I mean, I want to make money, but I want people to get their money's worth out of it. That's what my comedy shows are. My comedy show, you come and, if you're, I may do an hour, I may do an hour and a half, but it'll all be material that's not on my current special. And so I'm trying to give people their money's worth out here.
Which is actually a really big turnaround for you because your most recent special, Working Man, came out in January. So you're already out there pushing brand new material, stuff you haven't seen on Fallon or on Kimmel or any of the late shows that you've been on as well, too. So this is all brand new stuff when they come to the Fargo Theater.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you may see a joke off my latest Tonight Show. I do have one joke that I'm still doing off that.
Okay.
But it's a hot joke, and I got more to it. Whenever I do a late night, I have to kind of whittle some jokes down to fit it into a 5-minute segment. So, even if you're like, oh, I've heard this, there'll be more to it, and it'll be a better joke.
It's like Dusty Slay Plus, the premium edition that you're paying for.
Exactly. Bonus material.
There you go.
The extended edition.
On the phone with Dusty Slay, been talking about the fact that he's coming to the Fargo Theater. And also, on top of the Netflix special, you're on Netflix, The Stand-Ups as well, too, Season 3. I liken this to what Comedy Central used to do back in the day called the Comedy Central Presents, like where they just put a comedy out or a comedian out there for 30 minutes and just let them go. Is that what you think it's like, too?
Yeah, I think so, because I was going to do a Comedy Central half hour. And because I did a 7-minute thing on YouTube for Comedy Central, and it's up to 5 million views now, but it got 2 million views really fast. And then I submitted a half hour, and I guess Comedy Central turned me down. But thankfully, they turned me down because Netflix wanted me. So I got to do my half hour for Netflix. And Netflix is, far superior to what Comedy Central is. So I was like, great. I've never been so happy to be turned down.
Yeah, it seems that Comedy Central and MTV both have the same trajectory where it's like they're not as good as what they used to be at what they're doing in the name of their channel still, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, Comedy Central doesn't have a lot of comedy, and MTV doesn't have a lot of music. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, those things, those programs, they're crashing and burning because they don't really do anything good.
Best way to go see Dusty Slay is in person. Again, Fargo Theater, June 7th, but also the podcast circuit. You are, your co-host, Nate Bargatze, is coming to Fargo as well, too, later on in August. We're going to get like the whole Nate Land podcast in town over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Yeah, I do that podcast weekly with Nate. I do my own podcast with my wife called the We're Having a Good Time podcast. And I've been making the circuit out here. I mean, I've done so many podcasts recently. I just did Leanne Kreischer's podcast, Bert Kreischer's wife, called The Wife of the Party. Mm-hmm. I just did the Pete Holmes podcast. I got tons of content on YouTube. I mean, it's out there. I mean, I got jokes for days out here. I got 2 albums on Spotify. One called Making That Fudge, hot album. That's an old one, 2014. I don't even sound like me on there, but the jokes are still good.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm a youngster,
I also enjoyed, I saw it on not one of your most recent ones, I don't think, with Fallon, but when you take your hat off and you're like, this guy has a rock collection. I don't know if I'd say you have a rock collection.
Well, but I take the hat off and I'm like, hey, that guy likes rock music,
Exactly. Dusty Slay at Fargo Theater, June 7th. Tickets available at dustyslay.com. I also want to throw this out here, and you got some time to maybe build a joke around it, but up here in the upper Midwest, I'm sure you've been around, we say ope a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. I do know that, yeah.
There's got to be a way to tie that into your hometown of Opelika somehow. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh, yeah, Opelika, yeah. Oh. Well, I feel like I did mess around and do some jokes when I was in Wisconsin about Ope. But I like that, Opelika, yeah. Somebody told me that, because I went to Opelika High School, and somebody said, that's in Alabama, and somebody said, even your high school is like a high school. And I thought that was pretty funny.
There you go. I mean, yeah. You're the professional. I'm just going to throw, like I said, it's just a little tidbit. Maybe feel free to, you don't have to credit me or anything like that. You're gonna make it a diamond. I'm just making it the rough turd. So.
Well, if I can fit, sometimes it can't be done. I mean, it may be that may be your joke that you're able to figure out, but. If we do get it worked out, I will credit you. Well,
I appreciate that. Dusty, again, June 7th at the Fargo Theater, the night shift tour. You want to talk about anything else real quick, fast, before you...
Well, I like to tell people, that my comedy is relatively clean. I never like to say squeaky clean because I don't think it's squeaky clean, but because I'm an adult and I do an adult comedy show. Mm-hmm. But it is the kind of show, let's say you're in your 20s, and you want to bring your parents to a show, your 20s, your 30s, you want to bring your parents to a show. This is a show that you'll both enjoy. You won't be embarrassed that you brought them. There's no content that you're going to be like, I wish they weren't seeing this. And at the same time, if you're older and you got, kids 18 or older, they'll enjoy the show. This is a show that you can take them to that they're not going to think it's lame. And I just like to tell people that because if I don't tell people it's clean, they probably don't even notice that it is.
Right.
But I know everything's so filthy out here that here's your opportunity to, see something that's clean with a little edge to it.
There you go. A lot of blue comedians out there, and Dusty Slay is not one of them.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of garbage out here, and I'm just trying to. And I mean garbage in that it's real dirty, not that it's bad.
Not that it's bad. It's just dirty. Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
Well, Dusty, it's been a pleasure to chat with you, man. Again, the night shift tour coming to the Fargo Theater June 7th. Can't wait for it. Also, check him out. The Netflix special Working Man is out now. The stand-up season 3 is out now. Lots of ways to follow Dusty, and definitely one best way to go see him live, and that's at the Fargo Theater June 7th. Dusty, appreciate it, man.
So pumped to come back. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.